Welcome to Mr. Brown's Basement, a channel devoted to sharing the craft of repairing, restoring, and modifying vintage electronic gear, and other random stuff. In the last 3 videos, I talked a bit about the background and construction of this RCA 9W125 console. I have repaired the AM/FM radio chassis and the 45 RPM record changer. In this video, I'll be repairing the 78 RPM record changer. If you haven't watched those videos yet, I invite you to see them now. In the last video, I discovered to my dismay that the cartridge was bad, but not until after acquiring and installing a new stylus. I'm not going to do that again. In this video, I'll repair the 78 RPM record changer but ignore the cartridge. My plan is to eventually modify a modern cartridge to fit it.
Everything moves fairly freely. The motor mount is not in great condition, which means the idler probably won't make good contact. The motor is very stiff. I'm going to try applying power and seeing what it does. Okay, I can hear the motor attempting to spin, but it's not. So it probably needs lubrication. I'm going to remove these 2 set screws which holds the spindle in place. There's the shaft for the motor. Here is the idler. It's cracked, but it's not terrible. It's got a little bit of rubberiness to it. And this cam here, which controls the motion of the tone arm, it's got a rubber tire on it too. It's not too bad. Could be better, could be worse. But certainly this needs lubrication and cleaning. But let's check the motor. It's spinning. It started very slowly, but it's moving faster now. It probably hasn't been turned on in decades. It looks pretty dirty. So I'm going to take the motor out completely, I think. Oh, listen to that. Now it's moving as it should. I think it needs lubrication, so let's take the motor out. The motor is out. I'm going to take out this dust, and there are wicks in there. Will require some light oil, but all this dust has to go first. Also, it looks like one of the washers, this one over here, has disintegrated. We'll see what we can do. It's been lubricated now. Yeah, that comes up to speed much faster now. So I'll have to attach some new wires to that, and I will have to clean up the mess underneath the platter. Without a lot of that dirt, I think this could be made to work. It needs some grease over there. I still have to clean up this area here, and it certainly needs lubrication. There, I hope that this tire all the way around the edge of this cam is in good shape, because if it is, I can use it. Yeah, looks like it. Okay. Well, cleaning continues. This turns, but this is way too stiff. So I'm going to have to take this out and remove the old lubricant and put in fresh. This lubricant will come off with alcohol, and I'll have to do the same using a Q-tip inside. Now it turns as it should, very freely. No friction at all. Make sure that the record size selector moves freely. You will have to clean not only around it, but also under it. And you'll have to lubricate anything that moves. Since the cycling cam controls all the motion of the tone arm, it's not quite in the right place now. It needs to be extremely well lubricated, both on the cam and on the arm that rides within the cam. So right now it doesn't look like it's going far enough. And I'll have to see why. This arm here is not returning. See, it comes out and then the spring tries to pull it back, but it's not being pulled back. That arm has to catch this here at the right time, and it's not going to if it doesn't come back. So this needs to come off and
needs to be cleaned and lubricated.
now it's doing what it's supposed to do. It springs back and catches this when it's in the right place, of course. That is connected to the cycling cam. Here's the turntable in operation. What starts it into cycle is this tripwire over here, which can be initiated with the reject lever or with the position of the tone arm. So let me do it with the reject lever. I'll do it again. So what's happening is three different things. The two movements of the tone arm, up and down and back and forth, and the release of the next record with this mechanism over here. Now let me simulate the movement of the tone arm.
As it moves
to the center, travels along this ratchet. When it reaches the end, there's going to be a little bit of movement back, which does it. I'll do that again.
The record plays and then eventually reaches the center.
There's got to be a little bit of movement back. That's what pushes the record off the little shelf there, so it falls onto the platter.
This record changer is supposed to manage up to 12 10-inch or 10 12-inch records in a stack and drop them one at a time using this mechanism.
What I think is not helping my machine is that the tire on the cycling cam is worn, which is making it less sensitive to when this trip wire is engaged. I'm not going to do anything with the needle or the cartridge because based on my experience with the 45 RPM record player, it just wasn't worth it. The cartridge didn't work. So maybe one day I will retrofit something modern in here that will play. Not today. That means it's a matter of replacing these butt connectors, wiring in the switch, and reinstalling it into the cabinet. It will be functional for display and it will look nice, which is about the best I can do for a 78 RPM record player when I don't have any 78 RPM records. Last look at the turntable underneath. It's ready to be reinstalled.
It's too bad that the stylus is about as sharp as a knitting needle and that I don't have any 78 RPM records, because I'm sure it would work. In the meantime, I'm going to start thinking about how I can make a modern cartridge fit in this unit, and also what I can do to make the cabinet look a little bit more presentable.
That wraps it up for this video. I hope you enjoyed it.
If you did, please consider giving me a thumbs up and subscribing to Mr. Brown's Basement for more interesting and unusual videos.